4,500 years, we believed it stood alone. A single, solitary monster of stone guarding the Giza Plateau. The Great Sphinx is the ultimate symbol of ancient Egypt, a masterpiece so familiar that we stopped asking questions about it. We assumed we knew everything there was to know, but we were wrong. Deep beneath the sands, modern technology has just uncovered a profound deception. Ground-penetrating LIDAR scans, lasers capable of seeing through the earth like glass, have revealed an impossible shape buried just south of the monument. It is massive, it is man-made, and it is perfectly aligned. The data scrolling across the researchers' screens showed lines that were too straight and angles too sharp to be a trick of nature. Hidden under a crushing weight of earth, a symmetrical form is sleeping. Its dimensions match the Great Sphinx so closely that it cannot be a coincidence. This discovery has not just rewritten a textbook, it has triggered a civil war within the highest levels of the Egyptian government. We are witnessing public feuds over the data's validity and a desperate scramble to control the narrative. Is this a twin monument? A second Sphinx that has been erased from history? Or is it a colossal ancient misdirection? To understand why this discovery is terrifying the archaeological establishment, we have to look at what happened when the news broke. This wasn't a fringe theory from an outsider, the claim came from the inside. Ra Abdel Halim, a senior figure in Egyptian tourism and public relations for the Giza district, broke protocol. He spoke directly to the media, stating that a statue close in size to the well-known Sphinx had been found near the pyramid complex. His words cut through the usual noise because of who he was, a man working directly in the district where millions of visitors gather each year. The backlash was immediate and aggressive. Archaeologists who had built entire careers studying Giza rejected the claim outright. The loudest voice came from Zahi Hawass, the former Minister of Antiquities. He insisted that the Great Sphinx is unique, a solitary anomaly, and that any suggestion of a second one was baseless. But Halim did not back down. He argued that the evidence lined up in a way that had been ignored for too long. His refusal to step aside signaled that either a respected official was telling the truth or the nation had a conflict brewing inside its own institutions. Why is the establishment so afraid of a second Sphinx? Because if it exists, everything we think we know about the Old Kingdom is wrong. It would imply a level of engineering, planning, and symmetry that challenges the accepted timeline of civilization. And the most unsettling part, the evidence has been staring us in the face for millennia. When you strip away the modern dogma and look at the ancient records, you begin to notice a pattern. The ancient Egyptians were obsessed with duality, mayat, the concept of balance was central to their world. Order and chaos, day and night, life and death. In their art and architecture, guardians almost always appear in pairs. The most damning piece of evidence sits right between the paws of the Great Sphinx itself. The Dream Stele, erected by Pharaoh Thutmose IV over 3,400 years ago, tells the story of his divine right to rule. But look closely at the artwork carved into the granite. It doesn't show one Sphinx, it shows two. Two great lions facing away from each other, backing the same energy. For decades, scholars dismissed this as artistic symmetry. They said it was just a design choice. But what if Thutmose wasn't being artistic? What if he was drawing what he actually saw? This isn't just about ancient art. In 1817, a British explorer named Henry Salt, a man known for his precise documentation, sketched the Giza Plateau. In his journals, he described a massive formation south of the monument that looked like the back of a lion. He drew a raised shape, sitting in the exact location where the new LIDAR scans have identified the anomaly. Henry Salt had no reason to lie. He was simply recording the landscape before the sands shifted again. Modern analysis of his sketch shows that the proportions match the known monument within 3%. It suggests that a mere 200 years ago, the twin was partially visible before being swallowed by the desert once more. And then there is the evidence from Luxor. While the debate raged in Giza, workers upgrading a road nearly 400 miles south hit something that stopped their machines cold. In 2018, between the legendary temples of Karnak and Luxor, they unearthed a massive statue. It had the body of a lion and the head of a human. It was a second Sphinx. This accidental find sent a shockwave through the community. It proved that the ancients did build these colossal guardians in pairs. If it happened in Luxor, why is it so impossible in Giza? The Luxor discovery gives the Giza theory terrifying new weight. It suggests a forgotten architectural blueprint that we are only just rediscovering. So let's go back to the radar. What exactly is down there? In the 1990s, early radar scans picked up unusual shapes. They were dismissed. But in the early 2000s, teams returned with better equipment. They found patterns that looked like walls and narrow passages hidden beneath layers of compacted sand. The most recent LIDAR surveys have sharpened that picture. They show a structure that is not just a rock formation. The scan data reveals vertical fissures and a carved base cut right from the bedrock. But there is a detail in the data that changes everything. The buried structure is not lined up exactly with the visible sphinx. It is tilted. The offset is slight, only about 6 degrees to the east. To a layman, that looks like a mistake. To an astroarchaeologist, it is a message. Researchers ran the calculations for the sky as it looked 4,500 years ago. That specific 6-degree offset would have pointed the second monument directly toward the dawn rising of the star Sirius. In Egyptian mythology, Sirius was the star of Isis, the goddess of magic and rebirth. The Great Sphinx faces due east toward the rising sun, the symbol of Ra. This creates a perfect cosmic balance. One guardian for the sun, one for the star, one for the day, one for the night, male and female, Ra and Isis. The theory suggests that the Great Sphinx we see today is only half of the machine. Without its twin, the site is spiritually broken. So why haven't we dug it up? Actually, we tried. Following the LIDAR leads, a research team began a careful excavation in the target zone. The initial work was slow, fighting against sand, packed hard by centuries of wind. According to reports from the site, they found weathered limestone blocks bearing tool marks identical to those on the Great Sphinx. The sand was giving up pieces of the puzzle. Ground-penetrating radar mapped what appeared to be clear cavities beneath the surface, voids that looked like tunnels leading toward the Sphinx temple. The excitement was palpable. They were on the verge of the discovery of the century. And then it stopped. The Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities ordered a halt to all physical digging. The official reason was safety. The bedrock in the area is unstable, a fragile honeycomb of stone. The site sits dangerously close to the pyramids and the heavy foot traffic of tourists. A full-scale excavation risks a catastrophic collapse, but the sudden shutdown has only fueled the mystery. The area is now restricted. Only non-invasive scans are permitted. The potential second Sphinx remains imprisoned in its ancient vault, its secrets protected by bureaucracy as much as by sand. However, the story is far from over. New technology is making the sand transparent. The next phase of the search is moving beyond simple radar. Researchers are turning to hyperspectral imaging. This technology doesn't just look at shapes, it analyzes the chemical composition of the Earth itself. It can detect faint traces of ancient pigments and pockets of moisture trapped in worked stone, even through 30 feet of solid ground. Thermal imaging satellites are already detecting persistent heat signatures emanating from that exact location. These hotspots suggest hollow spaces, chambers waiting in the dark, where the temperature remains constant while the desert surface boils. The evidence is stacking up. We have the historical precedent of paired guardians. We have the eyewitness account of Henry Salt. We have the whistleblowers inside the government. And now we have the hard data from the scanners. The Great Sphinx has gazed at the horizon for millennia, keeping its secrets. But it seems it was never guarding the plateau alone. It was guarding its partner. If a monument of this scale, 240 feet long, has been hiding under our feet for 4,000 years, we have to ask ourselves, what else is down there? The history books tell us the Giza Plateau has been fully explored. The scanners tell us we haven't even scratched the surface. The desert is shifting, the technology is evolving, and eventually the truth will have to be dug up. If you want to stay updated on this discovery as new scans are released, make sure you're subscribed. We are watching this site closely. Until next time.